뭔지 몰라 도대체 어떻게 그럴 수가 있나 이 세상에는 나보다 더 잘난 남자가 있다는 걸 알아.
Hey guys, welcome back to Check the Vending Machines. We are back after a week off. I am Jason, that's Zach. What's going on, man?
Man, not too much, man. Just trying to. I felt like this week one was. So last week we didn't do an episode because you and Micah were down at my place to go to a Mega 64 show. But I felt like this week was like me trying to catch up. Which I feel like always happens when I like hang out with people for extended period of time, which is just like specifically I have it with like podcasts, where it's just like I just felt like I was just like trying to run through podcasts that I hadn't listened to, and then I got to day 2 of that, and I was like, you know what? If I didn't catch up to it, then I'm just not going to catch up to it. So,
right, yeah. I mean, thankfully for me personally, I don't really have anything that I'm constantly watching or listening to right now.
Yeah.
So it didn't really affect me, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the only ones that I really kind of felt like that were the politics ones, but at that point, it's like most of them are. Well, Ben's daily, and then the other one that I've started listening to, they only do it like 3 times a week, so it's like I don't know. It's not that big of a deal to me if I like miss one here or there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because within 2 days there'll be another thing to get mad about.
Yeah, the only thing is being behind on Sacred Symbols, because those episodes are like Joe Rogan levels of like. I mean, the base for them I think is like 3 hours, so.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Yeah,
in my life,
it's a lot. It's a lot to go through, and I don't know if I'm gonna be sticking with it for that long. Like, I like listening to them talk, but it's definitely got to the point where it got to the same point when I was listening to Super Castle Beast too, where it's just like, it's 3 hours, and it's like I only usually care about like half the shit that they're talking about. It's just like trying to get through it all to figure out if it's something that I actually care about. So, I don't know. I mean, I enjoy, most of their banter and stuff most of the time, and I still miss Colin all the time, but yeah, just 3 hours is just so much to shift through. I mean, luckily it's only like once a week, but that's a lot of content.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely avoid those ones, man. I try to. It has to be something I really care about.
Yeah.
For me to listen to to 3 hours of anything.
Yeah.
And even if it's something I do care about, it's even then, I'm fast forwarding through some shit, man. If the topic is boring, that's donezo. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But hey, we are back to start and kind of finish within one episode, almost. Ghostbusters.
Yes.
We talked about it a lot on the podcast throughout the podcast history.
Yes.
Essentially, if we just compiled every time we talked about it,
that's basically our review for Ghostbusters 1.
We've done the first movie for sure just by doing that.
We've done. I know I've done the first movie just by doing in the nature of our top 10 list, because I know I can't remember how many top 10 lists we've done, but I know I would say in the majority of them, Ghostbusters is usually there for me. So.
Yeah. It's never on mine.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be on mine. But we've definitely talked about 1 a lot, and I've talked about 2 a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen 2 until now.
That's correct.
So now we can really dive into that.
Yeah.
But the plan was last week do GB1, GB2 this week. Next week we do Afterlife.
Yes.
So now we're just going to do 1 and 2 today. Hit Afterlife next week. I already have my tickets next week to see Afterlife on Saturday.
I'm probably buying mine I'll probably buy mine tomorrow. I'll probably have to watch it on Friday, but yeah. I'm excited, dude.
As with every, I don't know what it is, man, but it's like the last, right before Infinity War, I just stopped caring. about pretty much any movie in the sense of like getting excited.
Yeah.
Like actual physical bodily reaction to see a movie. I just don't, excuse me, I just don't feel it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
I get more excited to like to rewatch old stuff, or if like a new old thing is being re-released on a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for that. But when it comes to like new movies, because even Matrix 4, I'm not like itching to see.
Mm.
And maybe that'll be different day of, but right now I'm like, I can probably wait another year if I needed to, and be perfectly fine.
Mm.
I think I'm more excited for fucking Kingsman than I am for fucking Matrix.
Yeah. Kingsman looks so good. I'm sorry, The Kingsman.
Kingsman, yeah.
But yeah,
we're doing Ghostbusters 1,
correct.
Ghostbusters 2.
I
I don't even know how to start because we've talked about GB1 so fucking much.
Yeah.
But we can just start from the get-go, and we'll do as I do with movies that we just talk about in general. So,
Okay.
Zach,
Yes.
what is your history of Ghostbusters? What's your history of Ghostbusters 1? Do you remember how you first came about it, how you first saw it? How did you feel about it growing up? How do you feel about it now? How do you feel about rewatching it?
I don't remember exactly when I first started to watch it, but I know that my parents definitely owned the DVD. Because my dad is, I wouldn't say he's a huge Ghostbusters fan, but he likes Ghostbusters a lot. Like, he introduced me to Ghostbusters, and like we watched it together. So I've had, a pretty early history. I would say probably at least elementary school, middle school, around then was like the first time I watched it. And I watch it pretty consistently. It's one of the few times I was talking about with a coworker today, and it's like I usually don't rewatch a lot of things too many times, just because there's so much stuff like that I want to see, and that's in my backlog, and I also have that like ADHD part of my brain that like always constantly wants to be doing something else to like. So for like me to like sit down and like rewatch something, I have to like really really enjoy it. So it's like very few things. Like Ghostbusters is one of those that I've seen multiple times. Jurassic Park's up there, like Terminator 2. Like those kind of movies are movies that I've like rewatched multiple times. So like Ghostbusters up there. I just really enjoy it. It's one of those comedies that like I don't know, I can always just turn it on. It always makes me laugh. I love the jokes, and that sarcastic humor is something that I've always enjoyed a lot. Aykroyd, Ramis, and Murray together are phenomenal. And when we get to GB2, that's one of the parts I like about GB2 too, is that, I mean, I don't know, it really just feels like their chemistry in that movie, they haven't really missed a beat with it. But yeah, I mean, it's a movie that I feel like has constantly been there throughout my life for me. So.
Okay. I've said before I have like a complicated relationship with Ghostbusters
Mm-hmm.
because I grew up watching it. I grew up watching both of them, specifically Ghostbusters 2 more. And since I was a kid, I don't know how I saw it. Probably I saw it on TV or something, and my dad just bought it for me.
Probably.
Some tape or something. And so I watched them all the time as a kid because I liked the gadgets. And I thought the thing was cool. I didn't watch them. I didn't think they were funny. I just thought it was a cool concept for a show or for a movie. And even now, like looking back on it, how I viewed it and looking how I view it, I don't think it's that funny. There's definitely really funny jokes in it. Absolutely. But I don't watch the movie and look at it as a comedy. They wrote it that way, but I look at it and that's probably why I always say I like the comic books more. I like Real Ghostbusters more when I go back and watch that because I like the idea that it's more supernatural forward first with jokes in it.
Yeah, I mean, I
Whereas
think
the
it's
movie is a
definitely.
comedy first with supernatural stuff in it. That's the inverse that isn't click for me.
I don't know. I feel like even in the movies, I still feel like it still feels like a sci-fi movie first and like comedy second. I mean, it sprinkles on the comedy really heavily, but I still feel like that supernatural element is always leading the charge in
I
in the
I
films.
disagree 1000%. When you just go back and watch how they made the script and watch how they explain like how Aykroyd's original script was all about sci-fi shit and supernatural shit, and then watching them dumb it down with jokes to make it a comedy, that's the thing I'm talking about. Where to me it's like I watched as a kid hoping it
Yeah,
was a sci-fi action
but then
movie.
they talk about Aykroyd's original script, and it's like it's not a movie.
Well, the point being that it's that's all his junk, all the
Right.
supernatural stuff. And since I don't even think Bill Murray's that funny to begin with, I watched the movie and go, okay, I like a couple jokes here and there. They're really funny.
And for me,
That's one of the
Ramis is
reasons.
the standout for me, especially in GB2, which as never having watched it, I think Ramis is like the best part about GB2. I love his character so much. They just like took his character and they like cranked up the sass meter like
Just
two
yeah,
notches, and I'm like, that's perfect.
yeah. I mean, and he's definitely of the group. He's my favorite. That's
Yeah.
why I particularly got his patch for my battle jacket. But when I think about it, even now, I don't look at the Ghostbusters in the same way I look at other like movies that their ilk have made, like of Lampoon or of any of those like improv groups from that era.
Hmm.
I don't look at it as a movie I watch to laugh. There's chuckles in it,
Hmm.
but I watch it as like, okay, here's some cool special effects, here's a cool little storyline. Um, but I don't watch it to like, belly laugh. I would watch Animal House or something like that, which is another movie with Ramis and all kind of shit.
Hmm.
So growing up, not really appreciating it like that, it's just a movie I watched. It took me a long time to like, okay, I know I like the movies, they're fun. I take them as that. And now with Afterlife, which is a whole different genre of movie they're going for, I'm much more excited for that because that's kind of what I kind of hope GB1 and GB2 were, which were not comedy movies first and foremost. Afterlife was like it's the Stranger Things bullshit, it's the kids with bikes bullshit. I like that tone. I know a lot of people don't like that who are huge fans of Ghostbusters because it's not a comedy thing. I prefer that shift versus we're gonna make a bunch of bits and hope that these kids can tell jokes. I mean, we've seen the fucking trailer for the new Home Alone. Doesn't work out that well.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's never really ever I ever saw it, but I can understand how you would think that way or have that kind of expectations. Yeah.
Well, I just when I'm a kid, I don't watch comedies for the sake of comedies. I'm not watching Animal House as a kid. Like I'm not watching Spies Like Us as a kid. I might be on TV, but I'm not like understanding every single joke that Chevy Chase is throwing out there. I might laugh at him falling or something, but like half of if you're a kid and you say Bill Murray's funny, I know you're fucking lying because his all his jokes are so sardonic and sarcastic and
Yeah.
they're so witty and like it's like word based fucking English grammar jokes and how he layers them. It'd be like if you were 10 years oh yeah I was 10 years old and I watched fucking Rushmore. I thought he was really funny. I'd be like, I don't believe you. You watch Rushmore when you're 16 and go, man, Bill Murray is fucking funny. That's my personality now. That's why everyone fucking likes Bill Murray now. But um, I can get Dan Aykroyd because he's just a goofy guy. You can watch SNL bits and go, okay, he's goofy.
Yeah.
That's why Ray is so great. That's why Harold is so great in it too. But having seen them so much now, I rewatched two first because two is my favorite one of the two, and I can really pinpoint every scene in all the movies now. And it's weird because it's not a franchise that I'm like. It could have ended at two and I'd be fine.
Yeah.
You know. So it's weird to me to be able to do that with a franchise I don't like wear on my sleeve as though it's like my favorite of all time. And after rewatching them, I can still say that I think Ghostbusters 2 is a more fun movie.
I would disagree.
What do you think is more fun about the first movie? I love the fucking slime shit. I think it's so stupid. I love it.
I think I prefer the thing about the first movie is like them getting off the ground and like trying to be like small business owners. I think that's all the like hijinks and stuff that comes with that, with like Ray coming back with like this fucking car and he's like all pointing out all the shit that's wrong with it, and he's like, I only paid like $4,000 for it, as he points out like $10,000 and shit that needs to be repaired.
Mm-hmm.
Like those kind of things are funny. Like when they go to the firehouse and they're trying to like barter down for the sale, and then Ray just comes in, found a fire pole, and he's like, "Well, take it." And he's like,
Yeah.
"All right, fuck us then. I guess we're taking this firehouse."
Yeah. We're going to the bank and like mortgaging.
Everybody
whatever,
has 3 mortgages.
Yeah. And like all those things when you're 7 make 0 sense. All those jokes when you're 7 years old don't land at all.
No, they don't.
Like watching the ghost blowjob scene as a kid I thought it was funny because he's just getting his pants pulled down. Like, oh, he's just getting his pants pulled down.
Yeah.
Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
As a kid. You know what I mean? And if you do know that as a kid, something's wrong with your family. You know what I mean? So I think that to me, when I look back at both things, and the music is a big deal. Because On Our Own is such a great fucking song that alone pulls me back nostalgically all the way back to when I first saw Ghostbusters 2. And that song is so good. And I prefer that song over the actual fucking theme song.
That's blasphemous. I can't believe you just said that.
I don't think so at all.
I think it is.
I think the main theme song is so fucking lame. It is so lame.
I've never
that
disagreed
it could
with you
be
more in my entire life.
I would literally get chills if an Afterlife on Bobby Brown starts playing. That song is so much better because it's not a fucking Ghostbusters song. It's a Bobby Brown song that he added a fucking Ghostbusters rap to it. That's amazing. You know, like Ninja Rap is so good, but it's a TMNT song. You can't play that on the radio.
I mean, you can play that on the radio.
You could if you were playing it right between Weird Al and fucking someone else who makes goofy songs. But, you know, On Our Own is so solid. And there's something about, to me, Ghostbusters 2, to me, is legitimately creepier. That fucking guy is legitimately creepy. Not the bad guy, not Vigo. Fucking whatever the hell his name is.
What,
the fucking
the
guy.
museum
Dana's
guy?
boss. Yeah, that dude is legitimately creepy to me.
Just because he has a European accent?
No, it's the bike scene. I mentioned on the podcast before. The fucking bike scene is legitimately creepy to me.
Oh, when he's like
trying to get the baby.
Yeah, he's like
flying in the air. He's all ghost mode. That scene is legitimately creepy.
That still doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how the fuck is he a ghost?
Yeah, it makes 0 sense. Slime.
Sure.
But that to me, like, when I think that to me, like, dude, even like now, if I saw that shit in real life, I would be like freaked the fuck out. That shit's creepy.
Mm.
But then Ghostbusters 2 has the fucking Titanic joke.
The Titanic joke.
That's a fun joke.
Turn the Statue of Liberty alive.
Yeah.
Which I still don't.
Which I think actually, I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, that GB2 only came out because the cartoon was so successful.
I think that's what RLM talked about.
And they were like, hey, dude, we're just going to fucking do this.
Yeah.
And just fucking throw away.
Well, yeah, because it came out way. Yeah, I think it came out like 5 or 6 years after the first movie came out. Like they only plan on doing a sequel because I think because of the cartoon.
Well, so rewatching number 1.
Yeah.
We talk about agnostic. What stands out to you? Say it was the first time telling someone about Ghostbusters, they've never seen it before. What stands out to you in the film as something that's really like these are highlight things about Ghostbusters 1?
I think one of the big thing is just the way that the demon dogs look. I think it's such a distinct design for like a possessing demon type of thing. That's something that always sticks in my mind. Also, the scene where Dana Barrett gets possessed is legitimately fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
She's got the hands that pop out of the chair, and she like gets swiveled, and then you got the demon dog.
Well, even just the refrigerator stuff.
Yeah, the refrigerator stuff is pretty
That's
messed up,
creepy too.
Yeah.
That's creepy too. But and like what I think it's really great about Ghostbusters 1, because even I could have the whole movie just be about them catching random ghosts.
Yeah.
And I would be happy. Because I honestly check out. I might finish the movie, but by the time it gets to the end, I don't even really care. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with the ending scenes. There's nothing wrong with that last little bit where they actually fight the bad guy. It's all fine. But like, I really enjoy them like act like, okay, ghosts are coming out now. That whole mid sequence,
montage,
Act 2, I love that scene. I think that's so.
Yeah, it's
good.
a fun scene. I like it in GB2
taxi
as
cab,
well.
the jogging guy, all that shit. I think is so good.
Yeah.
And that's why I love about Ghostbusters 2, which is all like the, hey, we're back in business.
Yeah.
And I wish they would really
still
explain...
doesn't make sense to me in GB2. It's all just well, I think that's the thing that stands out to me with GB2 as compared to GB1, which is that it's an interesting concept with the slime stuff. Like, I think it's an interesting thing about like the psychic slime. But especially with the ending, it feels like they had the concept, but they didn't know how to wrap it up. So they just like start like randomly like pulling shit out of thin air. Like, they talk about like the positively charged slime thing, which I feel like they didn't really mention at all.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh yeah, we have a fuck ton of positive slime.
Well, it's also like, you don't think there's ever in the history of the world another like worse city
the New
of
York
anger?
City, yeah.
The New York City, like you don't think that like somewhere like in Germany would have like really bad ghost slime?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't think like
So this is the
Hiroshima,
other
Nagasaki?
thing. Thinking about that, is the slime there because New York City is bad, or is the slime there because Vigo's painting's there and Vigo causes the slime?
I always
These are questions that need answers.
I always took it as Vigo didn't make it slime, but Vigo being there, being a powerful ghost or whatever the fuck, angry people just living in New York City, that created the ghost slime because Vigo was there, but he didn't create it. There's some backwards thing I thought, because they made it like being like, oh, it's an angry city, it's the worst city in the fucking country, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's all fucking physical ectoplasm of anger. I'm like, okay, well because if this was again, flip it to be not comedy first. If this was paranormal first, there'll be a whole soliloquy about fucking Ray being like, well, I did some research. It opens a book and it's like, well, here's the slime, and they would break that stuff down.
Yeah.
And if you ask Dan Aykroyd in real life, like, hey Dan, explain the slime to me, he'll be like, okay. I know he has an answer. We know he has an answer. It just didn't fit to put it in the movie because, hey, goofy movie, fucking cool laser effects. Let's not talk about it. And I know that in Afterlife, they're gonna fucking talk about something like that shit.
I mean, they already had like in the scenes with Paul Rudd, he already kind of talks about it a little bit.
Well, they say the earthquake stuff, so they're going to explain the whole cult thing, and they're going to explain that shit. And I'm like, I'm happy with that, to finally have some sort of concrete like ghost shit and Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because we don't really get a concrete ghost, like ghosty things. Like think about all the last podcast you listened to about ghosts and shit.
A lot. Like,
Dan has all the knowledge there, and everyone knows he's into that shit, and he has it all there. But it's like, how much did Ivan Reitman be like, yo, Dan, let's make this viewable to people who believe in Christianity. You know what I mean? Let's let people watch this movie and not have to worry about all of the ghost stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So they kind of brush it and make it surface.
Well, you gotta make the movie for people who don't know what an EKG meter is, so.
Right. Or just do a quick little, that's where they really fucked up in both movies with Winston.
Yeah, I mean,
they really fucked that up.
Supposed to be there to be the explainer character that you explain everything to, and they don't really do that.
They really.
I mean, they kind of do in GB1, more about the tech stuff than the actual ghost stuff, but they use him to explain how the tech works, where they talk about the trap system and like, you know, how the proton packs work a little bit with him. I think mostly for him, they talk about like the trap system and their storage system and how all that shit works. But yeah, he could have been utilized a lot more to do that. Because I mean, even in GB2, like they have the scene where like they're trying to explain the mayor like what's going on, and Winston's
He's just like,
look,
he's like,
here is in plain English what the fuck they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Because nobody can understand what the fuck Ray's talking about, because he always uses the
and I don't know if that's because of a Bill Murray thing where he just kept improving and people like that cut more. I don't know what the reasoning is for that.
I don't know.
Because I think that there's interviews with what's his name, Ernie Hudson, where he said that he had a bigger role and it kept getting cut down.
I know in the first movie that's always been what he claimed, was that Winston's role was supposed to be bigger, and then I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think it was like his role was supposed to be bigger, and I think Bill Murray didn't want him to have a bigger role or something like that, and like it cut him down, something like that. I think they talked about it in Movies That Made Us, but I can't remember.
It just shows you, man, that like that's they've and this goes back to my point about being the comedy thing. They focused on the three comedians.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's what people watched it for. That's what made it really successful, was the fact that it's a three comedians movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have two SNL guys and you have two Lampoon guys. I get it. I completely understand. But I hope that in the new one, I'm going to assume safely that they give Winston like honor.
I hope so.
To like actually do character shit, because he wouldn't be in the movie again if they were like, hey.
I
just
mean,
come
they
in here
give
and like do some fucked up
Janine
stuff.
like legitimate shit with like the moms, so I imagine they're gonna give something good for Ernie.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna bring in a new lady just to have her play the granddaughter of fucking Egon,
yeah,
we can give Winston some real shit to do.
Yeah,
you know, and we know it's gonna be just fucking Bill Murray improving for 15 minutes till he gets a good joke out of it.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in both movies is GB2 Courthouse.
GB2 Courthouse is great.
That scene to me is so freaking awesome. It looks awesome. The context of the scene is awesome.
No.
The idea of like the ghost slime with the trap and they're interacting, and then you have like the cool ghosts. That whole scene to me, like I could take that scene over most any other scene in both movies. To me, it's so cool. It's like also like the boys are back in town scene.
Yeah.
Which is way cooler to me than like after the mayor's office in the first movie. Then you have them singing around.
Yeah.
You have them doing the little do re mi type shit, and that to me, like, as a kid, dude, I thought that shit was so funny. And even now, I can't tell if there's a joke to it. I just don't get it.
I mean, the only joke that I got was that instead of saying me, he said Egon.
He just says Egon. Yeah,
which is, I mean, it's a pretty funny joke.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell if, like, because knowing, like, growing up and being, okay, I kind of think I understand comedy now. Is there another layer that I'm just missing? Or that Egon's thought was funny because like, he's just like, I'm going to change it to me.
Yeah.
That's how I always
Instead of saying me, I'm going to say my name.
But that scene is awesome. That scene is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think, okay, detraction from GB2, which is that, and it's what you see, it's what I saw when I rented the movie, which is the black suits. Not really utilized in the film, other than montage sequence. Yeah. That's a missed opportunity. I like the black suits.
100%.
They look good. Also, they're supposed to be older. They should be worried about their appearances, especially when Bacon tells them to suck in their guts. We're the Ghostbusters, boys. You think that you would want to have something that's a little more slimming. Everybody knows black is slimming. Wear the black suit because it looks good.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's disappointing. I thought there was going to be the black suits in the main fight, and it wasn't, and I was disappointed.
And they missed out on this is the lack of foresight for action figures. But because who knew, they didn't think it was going to be this big, obviously. But like they could have introduced so many cool gadgets besides.
Well, they already introduced a lot in GB2. I mean, outside of like I mean, they have the suits, the new suits. Egon has his new. I don't remember what he calls it, but it's different than the regular spectrometer, or whatever it
like the
is.
little weird PK thing.
Yeah, PKE, like the wingtip one. Now he's got this weird one that has like antennas and it's got a large ball. So he's got that.
They got the slime scooper
Yeah.
and the slime blower.
Yeah, and you got like the slime blower and the slime scooper. So I mean, there's a couple.
But those to me are so specific for this one problem.
Yeah.
Like I would be like, as a kid, being thinking like, okay, cool. We're gonna have new ghost busting tech.
Yeah.
But it's just the old reliables, which is fine. But I thought it would be cool for Egon to be like, hey, the Sklar brothers, perfect timing. I've been working on this new shit because they bring all their gear to the courthouse that they're being subpoena for, and then they could be like, Egon, what the fuck is that thing? And he could be like, fucking laser sword. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like new, and it's like perfect time. We can break it out, and it's something sweet. And I hope that's what's gonna happen in the fucking afterlife.
Probably.
The girl's going through the shit, and Egon has other like used,
although
pre-tech.
I wouldn't keep my hopes up because it's Hollywood, and the way Hollywood's been doing these movies is they don't introduce a lot of new shit. They just bring back the old shit and then maybe sprinkle like a little bit of new on top of that, but not a whole lot. So.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Zach, because you put this on you put GB1 on your list every single time for top 10s. What about the movie, to you, it makes it stand out to be a top 10 movie consistently?
I mean, I think it's one of the things that I talked about before, and I don't know if that's thing that I can put like a specific dot on it and be like, this is why I think it is. But for me, a huge part of it is just the fact that of its rewatchability for me, and like for me to have a movie that I find rewatchable and that I've watched multiple times and want to watch multiple times is like a big step for me to being like a top movie for me. Because if I like it enough that I'm gonna watch it again, then I mean that's got to be top. That's got to be in the top somewhere.
Well, what is number one usually? You bounce around, but what's number one generally speaking?
I think generally speaking, it's normally Jurassic Park. So
Jurassic Park, which is a very rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
Because like I think like there are people I know, like friends, who have a top 5, and they don't rewatch those movies at all.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh yeah, my number one is like, fucking insert really depressing A24 movie or whatever. And I'm like, that's your number one?
Yeah.
I mean, we can agree that it could be a great, fantastic movie, but like, how many times are you rewatching Citizen Kane?
Yeah.
That's the way I view my favorite movies, is movies that I will rewatch a lot.
Yeah.
And that's, at some point in my life, I made that shift between movies that I have seen that are like critically acclaimed movies and movies that I love.
Yeah.
That's why I have a Three Ninjas poster, not a fucking Godfather poster.
Yeah.
That's why I have a Surf Ninjas poster versus insert whatever the fuck else. And when I think about Ghostbusters 2, I used to watch it so freaking much, but I think that, like you, Jurassic Park, where you just love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And you like loved like Godzilla shit. I think I liked other things with gadgets. I like Batman more as a kid. So to me, Ghostbusters, like, okay, it's there. I enjoy it. But Batman, he got kicks, ninjas, and more gadgets.
He's got the
cool car too.
He's got a good trifecta shit. Yeah.
And I think maybe if I was older when I saw Ghostbusters first, to where I could really view it, or maybe if I was sold to me as a comedy.
So that's the most surprising thing. So it wasn't like sold to you as a comedy?
I took it as Ghosts, Busters, laser weapons. Think about it, right? As a kid, my whole life is Power Rangers. My whole life is Super Sentai. My whole life is action-based things. So anything I'm watching, if I'm fucking 8 and watching it a lot, I'm thinking that it's because it's action. So a lot of times,
that's interesting because especially with Ghostbusters 1, there's really not a lot of action. You've got the hotel scene and you've got the Gozer stuff.
So that brings me to Ghostbusters 2,
right,
which has more interspersed ghost busting. And when they're not ghost busting in the middle, we're watching a toaster dance. And I'm like, yo, that's fucking cool, dude. We got a toaster, and they're yelling at the toaster and shit. I'm like, this is fucking funny, dude.
I thought they were singing to the toaster because that's what happened.
Yeah, they're singing at it. Yeah, they're
We
singing
should
little
play
songs or whatever.
the great song.
But no,
Higher-
they're cussing at the jar.
Yeah,
right?
they're cussing. Egon's saying that it doesn't have a correct molecular structure, and Ray's calling it a piece of shit.
Yeah. And I think also too, I like about the second movie, I love Raise a Cult Shop. Just the idea.
I like it too, and the problem is that it's almost barely in the movie.
It's barely in the movie, and as an adult,
I like it as the idea
watching
for Ray of like, yeah, he's left the Ghostbusters. Like, of course he's gonna start an occult shop.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
then
why
Egon is at some laboratory where he's trying to, what was it? What was it? The ability of emotions to affect the physical environment.
Well, that's actually one of the reasons why, as a kid, I didn't really care about Ghostbusters 1 until they got to the hotel scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't understand, like, Bill Murray's opening scene, I didn't get it as a kid, dude.
Oh, yeah, that's...
That whole thing, I'm like, this is above my head. Like, I
didn't
get
get
it,
that
obviously
scene
get
as
it
a kid
now.
either, and now I get it. I'm like, oh, he's just a creep. Okay.
He's just a creep, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get that they were, you know, losing their... I didn't know what a grant was. What are you talking about? You lose your grant? I don't know what the fuck that is. So there's a lot of, like, humor that you have to, like, catch up on as if you're too young.
Mm.
And what latches you on, at least for me, was the gear.
Yeah.
The idea of a uniform, or cool effects, you know what I mean? We're spraying ghosts with laser beams. That stuff was what reeled me in. And now, as I have become an urban fantasy fan, now I'm like, okay, cool. Now I want more of, like, the lore. So the idea that we're going to see, like, the Shandor, like, fucking occult town,
Yeah.
to me is, like, super rad. That's, like, super cool to me. And that's why I'm looking forward to the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're going to see Ghost Egon, which is going to be depressing.
I really hope he doesn't show up.
Because here's what's going to happen, dude. I'm calling it now.
I
I
don't
read a spoiler
want him to be there.
I read a spoiler where he is there, but they don't. The spoiler I saw says that we don't see him, but he's going to be there. So, but basically what I
Wait, you don't
expect
see him, but he's going to be there?
Like they'll be like, oh yeah, someone helped us from the other side, type shit.
That's almost worse than if they just tried to do it.
What I expect is this. This is no spoilers, just me purely guessing.
Okay, hit me with it.
That they're gonna cross streams, right, or do something like that with the lasers.
Okay.
And it can be enough. But we're gonna get essentially a father-son Kamehameha wave.
I mean, I'm up for that.
And or Harry Potter versus Voldemort in the graveyard where Cedric dies and his parents come out and go, "You can let go, Harry. You can make it." It's going to be the equivalent
say
of
that J.K. Rowling stole it from Dragon Ball Z because she did. So.
Yeah.
I mean, Dragon Ball did it first, dude. The father-son Kamehameha wave. Everybody just steals from it. This is a great idea for a finishing move of your dead relative coming back to giving you that extra spirit boost to take out the big bad.
My favorite part about that whole shit is like they definitely didn't call it that. They just called it the Kamehameha wave, but DBZ Budokai 2 had to give names to moves.
That ultimate was the father-son Kamehameha. Yeah. I think it's called that like in like all the
games after that.
I think it is. I think even in Dragon Ball FighterZ, I think it's called that because it's Gohan's level 3. I think it's called that there too. Although you really don't get the... Oh, actually, I don't think it is. I think it's called a Super Kamehameha because you only get the father-son under specific conditions. So
at that point, shouldn't fucking... Okay, so shouldn't Goku's Kamehameha with SS3 be like way stronger?
It should be because that's his level 3 is he goes SSJ3, and then does a Kamehameha.
Or is it just because Gohan was mad that his daddy died, and that's Goku was helping him?
Well, that was the thing. It wasn't even. I mean, Gohan's thing is he wasn't even mad that his daddy died. He was mad that he killed Android 16 for some reason. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, I think also he was mad because he realized that he fucked up by not just getting the job done.
Yeah, dude, he's fucking pussy. He's like, I
Yeah.
don't want to kill nobody. I'm like, this person literally wants to destroy everybody on the
Well,
planet.
no, if you at least in the dub, I haven't watched the sub or read the manga, but like in the dub, it was very clear that he got cocky,
Yeah,
and his cockiness caused Goku's death,
that too. Yeah.
and that's when he's like, "Oh shit, I fucked up. I should just
Well,
killed
that's
him when I
like
could have."
the. Well, I mean, that's his whole fucking character, but that's like all Vegeta shit. Vegeta. Vegeta in the Cell arc makes me mad because Vegeta could
Yeah.
have killed Cell, and he's like, "No, I want to fight you
Yeah.
at your perfect form." And I'm like, "Bitch, you are not strong enough to do that." And he's like, "Nah, I can do it." And then he immediately fucking gets his ass handed to him.
I kind of appreciate that though, man. Like I
That
kind
he's
of
that
appreciate,
much of an asshole that he's like,
that's
"I
the
think I
yeah,
can beat you, even in
like
your
the
final form."
downfall.
Then he
of,
just gets his ass handed to him.
part of me that I really enjoy about Vegeta, and I grew up hating that character, was that like between that scene where he's fighting
SS or
what's it called? What's it like mid tier cell? What's
it's
it called? Imperfect cell, perfect cell,
it's
and what?
I
Adequate
think it's
cell.
semi-perfect cell.
Is
I
that
think
his
it's the
name?
official name for it. I think it's semi-perfect.
We gotta find out now because I don't want to be fucked up.
I think it's semi-perfect cell.
I'm gonna search cell forms.
Cell
Maybe you can get it
VC
first.
forms. Oh, that's not right. Hold on. Also, I know that he technically has 4 forms, but I just think he has 3 forms.
Larva, cocoon, imperfect, perfect. Okay, so we're not. They still haven't showed me yet. Semi-perfect cells.
Yeah,
What
semi-perfect.
is what one site is saying? So that's so semi-perfect cell.
Semi-perfect is when he absorbs 17, and that's when
Yeah.
he looks like
He
a fat boy.
he looks like an idiot.
Yeah, he looks like a fat boy.
Also, I loved how in the American anime
Mm-hmm.
they give him that obnoxious like stupid voice.
Yeah.
And then he gets this like pristine British voice when he becomes perfect.
Dude, his
cell.
perfect cell voice in English is like the best voice. I love his
Bad
voice.
guy voice.
It's a great bad guy voice. Better than Frieza's. Frieza's always just annoys me in English.
Yeah, Frieza's is terrible. Oh god, I forgot what I was gonna say, dude. Oh, so no, about Vegeta. I love that he could have killed Cell there 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And didn't do it, and it ended up like fucking him over. I love that, but I love even more what made me love Vegeta. Cause as a kid, I'm watching because obviously we all know now as adults that like by the time that we were getting this shit, Dragon Ball Z is already over.
Yeah.
Which to me is still crazy to think about.
Yeah.
That, like we're getting Fusion Reborn the movie like 15 years after it's already came out in Japan. You're like, what the fuck? Okay. So when when he goes Majin Vegeta and blows up the audience,
No.
that shit makes me go. I was like, dude, this dude's pretty sweet. This
He
dude,
kills an
'cause
entire
Goku-
stadium full of people.
Because Goku would never. Goku doesn't have the fucking balls.
Well, but technically, Vegeta didn't have the balls either. He had to be fucking possessed by Majin.
No. That whole conversation in the dub, at least. I can't talk about the anime or the manga.
Yeah.
That whole thing where Goku's like, oh, I can't. You can fight this. You can. And Vegeta's like smiling at him, and Goku's like, no, you didn't. You let him do it. And Vegeta's like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And then he blows up the fucking audience.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's fucking sweet, dude. And you see Bulma there being like, oh no, he's bad again.
That's my baby daddy, but he's a bad guy.
So, I love that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, though.
Mm.
So, I don't know what else to say.
I don't know either. I hit on most
Because at the end of the day, both movies, I will give originality in terms of stuff like scene selection, even majority of goofs. One has better goofs overall. Two has goofs that are good, but you can tell they're like, okay, we are riding a high here, so we're gonna just kind of keep riding off that popularity until as much as we can, and that's where you have the Bill Murray. And a lot of people say Bill Murray is not funny at all in GB2.
I'm trying to think.
He's not.
I don't think
he's not funny
yeah,
at
I
all.
don't think he is.
He's not at all.
I mean,
It's really a Dan Aykroyd
it's really it's
and
really
Harold
Aykroyd
and
and
Winston
Ramis.
movie, because even Winston has some funny, just like third
Yeah.
man bits with like
Well,
they're digging the
he's
thing
just
and
there. I mean, he's just got great straight man bits because he's just with Ramis and Aykroyd the whole time. So
yeah.
he just has that
Like
ability to bounce off them in this movie.
like the funniest part about Bill Murray and GB2 is when they're drilling the road.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the
That
only
I
really
didn't mind the
funny moment.
part. I mean, it reminded me of an Austin Powers bit, but when they go in to check out Vigo and he's doing like the photographer model
Yeah.
bit, like that's not bad, but I was like, but that's an
It's
Austin Power bit.
yeah.
So
But I
I
mean,
mean, I know Austin
a few
Power
years
came out
before.
afterwards, but that's what I associated with it. I was like, oh, he's doing like an Austin Power bit about like role model.
Even that though, whenever I rewatch that scene and I see that, I kind of like I go, oh man, that's because they pan away from it
Yeah,
and they focus on Ray doing his thing and they go
Ray
back to
being
like
semi-possessed by the painting.
yeah, you just hear it in the background like
Yeah.
to me I just imagine like on set like they just the 15 takes and he's just constantly like improving shit
Yeah.
and there's like having it in the background. But
Yeah, he didn't really
so
do much. I mean, this movie is much more him focused on like Dana and like trying to get back with her, and that's another thing you get in this movie, and I'm like, they give some half-ass explanation, but it's like, okay, so we're doing a second movie, but for some reason, him and Dana can't be together because Bill Murray doesn't want to be funny, so we have to give him something else to do. So he has to be trying to chase Dana. So they have to have broken up, and she got married again, but then she got divorced again. So now she's single, but she has a kid. So Bill Murray's going to try to woo her, and that's what he's going to do, so he doesn't have to be funny as much.
and quite literally you could have removed her and him from the movie
Doesn't
and
change
just
anything.
have made another movie.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
don't
I was
fit in at
thinking
all.
of. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, you could remove Bill Murray from the movie, and it wouldn't change anything.
He's barely in it in the first place.
Yeah.
He's barely in it. He's the scene where he has the fucking baby and then the other baby scene, and that's really
Most
it.
of his scenes are him with the babies, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
either him with the baby or him with Dana. So
But I think what it is that and why I really prefer, besides purely nostalgia reasons, is that I really, really do enjoy the three of the guys going on the train tracks underneath the
yeah,
sea.
that's a great scene. I love that.
I love that scene, and that to me is like that to me was what the first movie had with the three comedians.
Mhm.
Like why wasn't Bill Murray in that scene?
Well,
Besides the fact that
because
we know
he
he's-
decided that he'd rather try to bone Dana than actually do his job as a Ghostbuster. So
or he was doing drugs or didn't give a fucking one paycheck. Whatever he was doing.
hey, look, this is what I'm just telling. I'm just telling you in the context of the movie. That's what we got. So
Yeah, whatever. But like, I think that scene is so interesting. And it's
it's my
a long
favorite.
scene.
I think that's one of my favorite scenes in GB2 was all of that stuff under the train. And they're all getting scared and they decide to go to their proton packs, but then Ray does his Ray shit and discovers the entrance, and Winston's like,
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna like try to find something to protect ourselves.
Yeah. And then the ghost train comes in,
ghost
and you see
train, yeah.
I love that whole bit.
And then Winston and all them get into the river of slime and they go out and they try to fucking kill each other.
And then they pull all the clothes off, and
Yeah.
then they're fucking down.
And they're just in there in their giant long johns for like the next like 20 minutes.
all slimy. But then you have in Ghostbusters 1, you got This Man Has No Dick, which is like a great scene.
Great scene.
Great scene. And you have that bad guy.
Well, you've got
is, like,
the
best
you've got
bad
the
guy.
Walter Peck character in GB2, which is basically just the mayor's assistant. Like it's the same character.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, I feel like I've heard this before, but it's like GB2 script is like a little too close to GB's 1 script.
Oh, it's beat by beat.
Other than like the beginning stuff where it's like all of them separated, but once they're like back to being Ghostbusters, it's like, oh, this is like almost beat for beat like GB1.
I could have used more of birthday parties though.
Oh my god, that was the cringy shit.
Could have used more birthday party
Oh my
scenes.
god, I thought you were gonna be He-Man.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, is there anything else you want to mention about Ghostbusters before we end the pod and come back next week with fresh thoughts to add to the already recorded audio thoughts about our feelings on Ghostbusters?
No, I just can't wait for Afterlife, dude. I just want to get this movie in my brain and then let it marinate and see if I actually like it or not. Because unlike you, I don't know. I've kind of been burnt out on the Stranger Things vibe, so I don't know if this movie's gonna still hit that for me. I don't know, because I still watch Stranger Things, but I just felt like it was so played out, where it was like every single thing that was doing supernatural stuff was trying to hit that Stranger Things vibe,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also been a while since we had anything like that, because Stranger Things season 3 was like a while ago, and season 4
Mm-hmm.
still hasn't come out yet. So there's that sweet window where
Yeah, you should
Afterlife might be
watch
able to sneak in.
Summer of '84.
I wanted to watch it too, but that's very like, yeah, like Stranger Things expired, but instead of like supernatural stuff, it's like a murder mystery type of thing, right? Or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not really
And
supernatural, is it?
no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like a straight kids on bikes thing, and then it becomes not a kids on bikes thing.
Okay.
And I remember watching it, being like, oh, okay, cool, this is right up my alley, and being like, oh, this is a horror movie.
This is
Like
not on my alley.
very towards the end, I'm like, oh, this is a fucking horror movie. Gotcha. Okay, all right, copy that.
It's like the ending
You
of
know,
what was it, Kid Detective?
it's the same kind of thing. Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a pretty fun movie. And then you get to like that last 10 minutes, like, oh, this is a fucked up movie. God damn.
Yeah, basically the same exact thing. Like tone, just a huge, humongous tone shift.
Yeah.
But hey, guys, thanks for listening to us ramble about this stuff. You can really go back and like just watch a billion episodes of us talk about these movies. But hey, I'm glad that we can finally put it down on record.
Yes.
And I'm sure we'll talk all about it stuff next week with the connections and the ties, and I'm sure we'll go into some extra stuff.
Oh, for sure.
About what we liked and didn't like about Afterlife and how it ties into the first two movies.
Yes.
So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And maybe after that, we'll actually do a wrap-up episode. We'll see what happens.
Are we doing the wrap up? Or are we going to do. I mean, I'm down to do a wrap up.
I don't remember.
I have a
what we had
giant
after
list, but I know that also Bebop is coming out. Which I've started
Yeah.
my rewatch of the anime in anticipation of it coming out, even though I don't know if I'm going to really even like the live action. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it, so let me finally rewatch the anime first. But
Yeah. I mean, I'm down to do either way because I haven't watched the show yet still.
yeah, but I mean, it's
And
down for you. I mean, I'm down to do a wrap up. We can just do a wrap up, and then we can just talk about it or whatever.
because I'm gonna watch the live action regardless
Yeah.
if I do watch the anime or not.
Yeah,
So I'll definitely have seen it.
yeah.
So we can just discuss it on a wrap up if we want to.
Okay.
But we'll play it by ear. So thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks for see you back next week
See you guys.
with Ghostbusters Afterlife.